All right, we're joined now by the Norfolk State Spartans head coach Larry Vickers, student athletes Deja Francis and Kyra Wheeler. Coach, if you would, please make an opening statement.
Wow. So many things to say, I guess. So many things running through my brain. First of all, I'll talk about my team first before talking about South Carolina. I mean, since June, they worked hard every single day. Well, for the most part. 85% of the days. But we worked hard a lot of days, and that led to a 26 win season, and that led us to our first tournament berth since 2002, so 21 years. And, you know, we always talk about how difficult it is to win a regular season championship. That's 2 months. But to win a tournament championship, that's 4 days, you know. So, and then we prevailed for 4 days and won both. And, you know, for both of my seniors, Deja and Camille, you know, they've won 2 regular season championships and a tournament championship. And, you know, for my sophomores, I have 6 of them that play in our rotation. They see now what it takes to win and the grind day in, day out. South Carolina, they're as good as you expect them to be. And they just keep running them out. And in the third period, into the third, we began to get a little gas, and then they just bring 20 in, and then she just Fagan, gosh. And it was like Boston and 10 were just wearing us down, and then they throw 20 in to finish us. And, you know, that kind of depth, you can't kind of simulate in practice. You can't simulate it. I felt like in the first half we did a pretty good job on the old glass, and in the second half, just fatigue kind of set in. They're an amazing team. I don't know what they are now, 30-0, 29-0, whatever it may be, but good luck to them the rest of the year.
Open up for questions for the student athletes at this time. If you would raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. Chantel?
Chantel Powell with HBCU Game Day. Here, this is for you. Having to, you know, you kind of held your own against that depth. What did this show you in terms of what you want to add to your game coming into next season?
It definitely showed me that I just got to work on my outside game, and just being able to compete with the top level girls is the best feeling. So it's nothing but work to be done this summer.
Michael?
Michael Sauls with the Virginia Pilot. Deja, I know you were one of the smaller players on the court, but at one point you were leading Norfolk State in rebounds. Just amongst that height, what does it mean to you to get out there and, you know, kind of leave it all on the floor during this game?
I mean, it's always hurt or hype, you know, just going out there and finding the ball. I mean, it came to me, and I was thankful that it did. But once again, we was just battling and going after it.
Yep. Let's go back to Chantel and then Pete.
You know, I know one of the things with South Carolina is being able to withstand like that first blow. How do you guys think y'all did in the first quarter when they was getting to the line a couple times and, you know, kind of scored from the free throw line?
Kira?
We knew what to expect. It's just that simple. Coach LV told us just not to let the scoreboard affect us. Just keep playing hard and take every possession one at a time. So that's what we did.
Kira, you want to add to that?
Basically what she said, we stuck together, and every time they called a foul or we got a break, we just told each other, keep working hard, and that's exactly what we did.
Pete?
For Deja and Kiara, Coach Vickers said that fatigue maybe kind of got worn down middle of the third quarter into the fourth quarter. Did you see that out there? Did you feel that?
Kira, you want to go first?
Me being the one that was guarding Aaliyah Boston and Cardozo, yes, I did feel it. It was definitely a challenge, but when I did feel that fatigue, I told my teammates, like, I'm going to need your help down here. Like, I'm boxing them out, but you got to come grab the rebound, and I think they put in more effort to come down there and help me.
Yeah, we definitely did feel it, but once again, we knew what to expect. But we stuck together, and when Coach LV was taking us, he put me in and out, and I was so thankful for that little breather that I did get. So.
Michael?
Kiara, I know you and I have both had good performances tonight. I know we talked earlier in the week about how, regardless of the result of this game, it would, you know, help out the program. How did you feel like, you and Naya's performances will kind of help you with this experience and moving farther into the program, as you progress?
I think me and Naya have a great connection, us being sophomores together. And, I mean, this is my first year with her, so for us to have that connection already is amazing. And we just know, like, with this experience, we're going to carry it into next year so that the people coming in and next year and our teammates know, like, we mean business and we want to get back here with a different result next year.
Any other questions from the floor? We do have one on Zoom. Brian Smith. Brian, if you can hear me, go ahead and give your question to the student athletes.
That's your Queens, brother.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you, Brian.
Oh, great. Sorry about that. What does this say for the program moving forward for Coach Vickers and for Kiera?
Kiera, you want to take that?
For the program moving forward, I mean, we're nothing but excited for next year. I mean, of course, this loss is going to take some toll on us. We're going to take some time to recover from this, but we're right back at it for preseason, and I'm just looking forward to next year and what we have to bring.
All right. Thank you. You can go back to locker room. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll open up for questions for Coach Vickers. Chantel?
Coach, going back to that first quarter, they said, they knew what to expect. How do you feel like they handled that first blow in the first quarter?
Well, at one point it was tied 2-2. It's one of those things where, we had different game goals. I talked about them. We wanted to win 3 out of the 8 medias. I think we won 1. Maybe 1 was tied, and now I have to check for the 4th period. It's frustrating when you're working your butt off down there, and not that the officiating was bad or anything, but then you get a whistle. And it says they only got 16 offensive rebounds. It felt like 60, So you can't give a good team that many opportunities at it. We knew that going in, and unfortunately we gave them too many, I also thought, Coach Staley called the timeout in the beginning of the 2nd period. Then after that, they went on like a 9-0 run. I'm not sure exactly what it was but I think it was about 9-0. And in those moments, we missed layups. In those moments, we had costly turnovers. And they're not going to make too many mistakes. That's why they're the number 1 team in the country. But when they make a mistake, you have to make them pay, and we didn't do that, unfortunately.
Just an FYI, the South Carolina locker room is now open as well. Michael?
Coach, I know during the week you were emphasizing, the need to win the post and the rebound battle. In the first half, I think you were only 1 off of South Carolina's total. Just what did it say to see your team battle in that first half on the glass?
It's good when you get when you have a team that really buys in. And my group really bought into everything. I've kind of preached this year. And, so when you go in at halftime, I couldn't even be mad because, we left it all out there in the first half. And the biggest difference between a program like South Carolina or the other teams that you see that are ranked really high is the depth. When we went to our bench after Mimi, I'm playing Mimi. I generally only play her 28 minutes. Today I played her 35, so when you start to go in a program's bench, that's generally when you see the difference. Not that my first 5 is as good as their first 5, but the difference between mid-major, low-major competition when you come to these tournament teams is generally the bench. And Deja played solid. Camille was in foul trouble, but she had good looks. Mimi was good. Naya was solid, so it's the bench when things like that happen. And our bench is going to get better. And hopefully we can continue to recruit at a higher level and kind of fill some of those holes.
Chantel?
And then just having all of your younger players kind of have that trial by fire moment. I know Deja said last season y'all came in with the goal of improving defensively and, as a rebounding team. What do you feel like the next wrinkle is to take the program to the next level?
Well, I don't care how, but hopefully we'll get here again, and hopefully we don't have a 1 and a 6 next to our name. And if you can everybody always asks me what's the biggest difference between men's and women's basketball, and it's not the coaching piece. It's not really that piece. It's every year there are great teams in women's basketball, and every year there are not great teams in men's basketball because so many people leave. I watched their game against Georgia for their senior night, and you're like, they won 118 games together before they closed the season. Like, that is remarkable. That's crazy. Like, you start using words like crazy and insane, and now that we have a sophomore group with 6 players, hopefully this sophomore group can come to the tournament in 2 years and y'all be like, that sophomore group won 90 games together or 85 games together. And that's something that we're looking to build to.
Michael?
Kind of to your point about the recruiting, despite the result of the game today, how much does playing this game on the national stage on ESPN kind of help with continuing to build the program and recruiting and things like that?
I need glasses. I can't see your name. What's your name? Michael. I'm glad you said that. And I didn't bring it up all week. But we played on ESPN 1, you know what I'm saying? Like the first one. Not 2, not 3, not plus. We played on ESPN today, like nothing after. Not the W, nothing. So, I mean, we had some empty possessions that we would love to have back. But I'll tell you, we would love, maybe some of those empty possessions had something to do with no plus or no 3 or no 2 next to that. Like our men's program, they've won a ton of games. They've never played on ESPN 1 before. So, just the exposure that you can get from this tournament is amazing. And we appreciate the whole week. And, hopefully next time, like I said, we can get a 15 or 14 or whatever that case might be, because when you're on that one line, it's a little different.
Pete?
Larry, this is your first experience coaching your team here at the NCAAs. What do you take away from it that you can, use to build the next time you're here in a year or 2 years or whatever?
Brian, who's on the Zoom, he does an excellent job covering my team locally. But just that ability to talk in front of y'all, to talk to Anscape, to talk to all the different reporting groups that have been covering us. HBCU Game Day's been covering us for weeks now. Just that notoriety piece, just that exposure. We have good players. Sometimes teams will take the 12th player on a really good team over an all-conference MEAC player. So we need this for the exposure for Deja, for Camille and the others, to just help them kind of get the money overseas that they deserve, So it's been an amazing week for us. I told them before there's not a better film to send overseas than this one. There's not a better one, So the way they competed today was just, it speaks to their character.
Brian Smith, did you have a question? I see your hand still up. Think he's on mute yet.
He already answered my question. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Larry, thank you.
Hey, bro.
Anything else for Coach? All right.
Thanks,
you, Coach.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, you want to take all these back with you, Coach?
Back there. Ooh, shoot. Good job, man. There were 2 rules. Don't step on chair and sit behind your name.
Oh. We voted on one.
I mean, you just step on chair, so you followed the most important rule.
Yeah.
Inexperience. All right, our final team in today is the South Carolina Gamecocks. We're joined by head coach Don Staley, student athletes Bree Hall and Sanaya Fagan. Coach, if you would please make an opening statement.
I'm gonna say it today, so we can prep for next year. Norfolk State is not a 16 seed. Just want you to know that they're not. Very well coached, very disciplined. I mean, they play for 40 minutes. They run some great stuff, and I mean, if it wasn't for the way we play defense, they would probably given us a lot of troubles, considering how we did not shoot the ball well outside of the first quarter.
We'll open up for questions just for the student athletes at this time. David with the first one.
Bench strength is a big part of this team. How ready did y'all feel? Just when you got out there, did you think, okay, we've got to step it up a notch?
Go ahead.
You can go first.
All right. Well, Coach always instills us that, to be productive out there on the court, coming off the bench, it's always like, oh, well, we're coming off the bench. No, that's not how we think. We go out there and we're like, let's go out there, let's play hard, bring whatever we can to the table. And that's it, really.
Yeah, I just say no matter what, when your number's called, just be ready to go out there and do what you know how to do.
Emily?
Sanaya, you came out and hit a bunch of shots really quickly, had one of the best shooting percentages on the team. Just what did that feel like for you to do that on the stage? And also, what gave you the confidence to come in and shoot like that in that moment?
I'm sorry. Like I said, Coach always say, no matter what, when your number's called, be ready to go out there and do what you know how to do. I mean, I just feel like I just went out there and did what I know how to do.
Got Alan in the front. Pete.
For either of you, second time doing this, you're here last year. Where do you guys kind of feel like you are now, either mentally or physically, with NCAA tournament games compared to where you were at this time last year?
Well, are you talking about personally or as a team?
Or personally.
Well, personally, I feel like, going in, this is my second year at this, and I feel like I have a little bit more experience. I feel like the focus is really there, and my mentality is just to really go out there and play with confidence. I feel like last year I kind of lacked the confidence part, and this year I'm playing a lot more confident.
I can agree with exactly what she said.
Pete?
Bree, what's this like being part of an undefeated team? Is it a lot of fun, or is it more pressure as things ramp up and you guys get closer to a title?
There's some pressure, but it's also a lot of fun. As an undefeated team, we actually really don't talk about it. We're not like, we've got this long streak of wins. We just take each game by game and just go out there and play like how we've always been playing. And, yeah, that's really it.
I think we've got a question in the back. Amanda?
This is for Bree. Bree, last year after the Howard game, someone asked you a question. Your response was, this is just what we do. This is just kind of what we expect. This is how we do it. Is that the same mentality headed into this year as well, or headed into the postseason?
Yeah, I definitely say it's the same. I think we just go out there and just do what we do best. That's what Coach always tells us.
Any other questions for the student athletes? No? Okay. Y'all can go back to the locker room if you like.
Thank you.
We'll take questions for Coach Staley at this time. David's got the first one.
Donald, in the second quarter, Norfolk State turned a couple of turnovers into 5 points. You call it timeout. One was the message of that timeout. Two, I don't think that you're much of a fan of calling those in the middle of runs, but why did you feel necessary to go ahead and do that?
I just thought we were we made some pretty good plays, just natural in the flow. And then I thought we just tried to force things that weren't there, or just try to make a spectacular play rather than just simplifying. And it happened more than once, and I just felt like it was time to just let our players know that, we don't want to give people opportunities. I mean, at halftime, they had 7 points off our turnovers and 7 points off our offense, seven second chance points. They had 18 points total. And then two of the 4 points that they had were just, they stepped through us. We had a pretty good defensive stop. I mean, our defense was doing this job. Our offense was killing us, and our inability to control the boards in the first half. So, I mean, those are things that we are really good at. I mean, and discipline, and we weren't that at that time.
Emily?
Ashlyn and Sanaya both played some pretty significant minutes tonight. Just what did you see from the two of them that you liked, that you wanted to keep going?
I mean, they've been practicing well, and I just tried to get them in the game with some of our older players, just to give them some experience, because we don't know what our seniors are going to do. They all could leave, and I would like for some of our young post players to really get some experience playing in big games and having to be counted on, and give them some experience to understand that it's going to take more than what they did today for us to be successful next year.
Al?
Some of the players in the locker room were saying they felt like rust was an issue, especially in that first half. Did you notice rust, and how do you go about trying to knock that off in the middle of a game?
I mean, we weren't rusty when we practiced. We were probably game rusty, but I think Norfolk State had a lot to do with it. They challenged us. They forced us to play a certain way and to maintain a certain level of discipline. And if we didn't, they made us pay for it. So I think we won the game with our talent. I do think we won the game with our talent. And then we had at the free throw line, we weren't great, but we forced them to have to play us and our length. So obviously, moving forward, we can't rely on that, because you have South Florida team that's going to fight and do what they need to do to get a win.
Pete?
Dawn, what do you think has to happen in order to get that engaged? Is just a good practice tomorrow, good strong practice tomorrow, get everybody focused again for Sunday?
I mean, yeah, they're focused, but sometimes they lose focus in the thrill of wanting to, hear the crowd cheer loudly. I mean, I think that's enough. I mean, the timeout is uncharacteristic of me, so I think it was uncharacteristic of them. So I think we both got the point, and we'll practice tomorrow to get ready for South Florida, and hopefully we'll have a better outing from the free throw line, from just us having a 40-minute commitment to what we need to do on offense. I know our defense will show up, because that's what we do, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Jeremiah?
Dawn, you said a couple minutes ago with Sanaya, she's been practicing well. Her teammates have said that, she's been practicing well. The third quarter, she had kind of that 6-point kind of burst. What have you kind of noticed, I guess, about her progression to this point of the season, and just kind of what did you like about the minutes that she played today?
I mean, Fagan can score, no doubt about it. She's very, very talented offensively. But if you were on our side and you heard her father said, play some defense. Yep, and I said, look back at him. I said, you're absolutely right. That is the thing that is the hardest learning curve for her. But she really understands. She really understands, and I think she just needs, more, a better commitment to it. And she's just young. Like if she would have had the year that she's having this year, last year, she would probably be much better off. But she got to go through it. You got to go through it, like a year in which she made a commitment to work a little bit harder and to change her body and to see herself as being dominant. Domination is a process, and it's a process that we've journeyed with Aaliyah, and it's sort of the same thing.
Go right here in front.
Dawn, wanted to follow up on USF. I know you had some assistant scouting. Just how aware are you of that program, the coach, and what do you kind of expect from them on Sunday?
Well coached, spread you out, hard cutting. They occupy the defense, on both sides of the basketball, but mainly, the weak side of the floor is always has you occupied, so it lends opportunities for them to drive on you, for them to space you out and shoot threes, and just well coached. Like, offense is what they do fairly well, and then they're stingy defensively. They play a sort of like a pack line sagging, and then scouting report defense. If you can shoot the ball, they're going to guard you. If you can't, they're not going to guard you. So, we have to approach it pretty much the same way. Like, we got to get our bigs involved. that is our advantage, and then our depth has to play a role in it.
And the last question, Amanda.
Coach, you guys win this one by 42 points, but in that first half, the inconsistencies, the fans start freaking out. What does that say about the level of expectations you guys have set here, and what is that standard?
Our fans want us to play well every second that we're on the floor, and we understand that, and we try to live up to that. We really do, but they ebb and flow. They go on an emotional roller coaster with us and our play, and I wouldn't want them to be any other way. Like, I don't want them to be bored with winning. I don't want them to accept us playing uncharacteristically bad. I want them to be right there with us, because that's what's happening. We had to turn it around. We had to create some good plays for them to get involved into the game, because that's what they're used to.
All right, we'll let Coach go. We'll have an opportunity to speak with her again tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate it.